Hey there, aspiring guitarist. You're going to have to bear with me. This is my first live, and it's a test live. Part of the perks that we're doing for our low cost support memberships was that we would have at a minimum one topic themed live a month. Now, that doesn't mean I won't have some other lives. I don't want to I'm still learning about this. This is all a result of people asking how they could support the channel. Y'all know I'm not trying to turn this into a big money maker by any means. I'm retired, so I don't even want to get into all that. I'm sure there's going to be some comments from the Peanuts gallery of, oh, yes, or whatever. What I want to finish talking about, I put a video out today. I put it out to members only first about chairs and proper seating for the guitar. Now, like I said, this is also a live test. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on, so pardon the reflection, just where I can see what's going on. Um, so bear with me. I want to talk about guitar seating in relation to the video. I don't have any moderators. I don't have a team. I'm still waiting on a video camera. As I told you a while back, I had to change over to a laptop, which I'm using now. I'm waiting on a higher end camera to do my videos and things of that nature. So, at any rate, we're going live. I don't even know how to tell who's here. It looks like I'm live. It's showing me I've been on for 2 minutes. So we're going to see what happens. But, um, and I'm going to have to move this around from time to time so you can see, things that are going on. Bear with me while I try to get this in focus. I'm going to cover a couple more chairs other than the video. Um, I did this chair that I sit in all the time. Y'all have seen me reach back here, and it's got arms that will fold up. Now, that's by no means a proper guitar chair, but I do most of these at a desk in the corner of my guitar studio from a desktop. And I hope to go back to that because, I can see. It makes it easier to see. But some of the things that we talked about, I actually highlighted this chair right here. This is the Adjust Right chair, and you can go back and find the video. And this is a great chair. It folds up easily. In fact, it was shipped. It was unbelievably boxed. It was a box inside of a box, padded. It was unbelievably padded. But it folds up. It literally there was nothing to putting it together. You literally just undid it, because it folds up and carries so easy. Now you have to remember how to do it, and so you pull. You don't pull here. You pull from inside, and it just folds right up, and then it's adjustable. So you've got the little pop pins that you can adjust. And I know that's hard to see. I'm trying to get it where you can. I don't have these fancy cameras and everything yet. So let me turn on a light here. I'll try to get some to help. But it's just that they slide out and you can adjust it. But, it has no arms. It's very comfortable. It's not light, but it's not heavy, but it's sturdy. So, it needs to have some weight to it. And you can just slide it in. Now, one of the things that you'll notice, I'm going to go back. This is a great little footstool. And you'll see let me get some light on this subject. There we go. And this is a Donner. And they make all kinds. They make real expensive. These are mostly used by classical guitarists. But I find them to be very handy. For instance, like the stool that I showed but you can prop your foot up on this stool and adjust the pitch. And then it makes it easy to get more in a playing position that you like, or if you want to get in a classical position. But it just makes it real easy to get the foot at the proper height. So that's something else that, I think is a valuable tool. I'll put a link. I'll go back into the chair video and put a link onto that. And I mentioned this chair in the video as well. And what's nice about it is, of course, it's got a place for a guitar. And then this folds in, as you can see. So let me put this over here. Y'all bear with me a second. Let me get it close. Y'all have seen this in my studio before. It's just a really nice chair. It folds up as well. It's a little harder to fold up. You have to tighten up knobs, and you had to put this one together. But I do think it's worth it. But the guitar stand folds inward, which means once you lift up the guitar, you fold it inward. And then you've got a nice little prop to put your foot on right here and play the guitar. So that's that T5Z. I'm not trying to do a playing demo. We're talking about chairs and posture. But, when we practice, unless we're using a strap, and a strap changes everything from the position, the posture, to everything else. I have a hard time with dreadnoughts because of my shoulder, but a big guitar with a strap doesn't bother me. I just don't play with a strap that much anymore. But, we're going to have a Guitar Straps 101 video. I did a short where we're going to cover a little bit of everything with straps, locking straps, all kinds of things, tying straps where there's not a peg, and we'll even talk about putting pegs in. I've got a Martin 0028 that I'm going to put the strap peg in myself into the heel, and there's some guidelines you need to do. You don't want to tear up any guitar. You certainly don't want to tear up a Martin. But even sitting, some people like to have a strap sitting. I do, because it keeps the guitar in a place where I feel comfortable playing it. And then if I want to stand up, now naturally if you're gigging, but you'll see many people play with a Fender stool. Now, I didn't bring the stool down. The Fender stool I showed in the video, they have a 30-inch, and then they have taller ones. But the big thing is the footrest. When you go in a guitar store, that's one of the first things they're going to do. If you're like, a lot of guitar stores will have a couch, and some people want to play on a couch. That's where they play. But if they notice you're having a hard time playing, a lot of times they'll sit you on a guitar stool, or one like this, a bar stool type. It's higher up than the lower one. You see, this is higher up than the adjustable chair that a classical guitarist may use. So seating's important, and it can change the way you feel about a guitar. If you're sitting, let's go back to my office chair. This is my office chair. Well, if you're sitting in a chair and the arms won't move, then you've got to scoot up, and you've always got to be aware of not banging the guitar. And you also may having to hold up the guitar. So, if you're having to hold up the guitar, then that's going to change the playing posture. If you're fighting the neck to keep it up, then that's going to change how you change chords, how you move up and down the neck. Seating is very important. The other thing, seating, proper posture. The older I get, the more issues I could have with my back. But I try not to have them. I try to lift in the proper manner. I played football. We were taught how to lift weights, not to use your gut and have a hernia in the process. But posture is everything. They found out I come from a computer and journalist background. I had to get ergonomic desk because I was getting carpal tunnel syndrome, and I have a Dupuytren contracture that kept me from playing for 5 years. So proper seating helps. It You may get wrapped up in guitar, and you may be frustrated and fighting the guitar, and I would encourage you to get up and put a strap on, try something different, see if that helps. Change your seating, change your heights, get something to put your foot up on, get in a there's a reason guitars were made with the shape they're made. And like a reason the strap body, some people feel is so comfortable, can be brought in tight, has that natural curve you can get over. So, it's important. And like I said, we're going to do guitar straps. And while I'm at it, let me show you. I love these little things. You got to be careful with them. This is a fret 37. You can buy them on Amazon. I'm sure they're in other places. I did quite a while back when I first started the channel. I did one of my first shorts on this, and it's designed to where you can play with it, as you just saw me do, and then you can take the guitar and you can just sit it straight on the floor and it'll stand by itself. I've never had a problem with it. I never have. Now, where you will have a problem, you got to be careful. The back of the guitar has to be flat. It's got to be flat. Now, I'm going to give you an example. My Taylor GS Mini, one of them, this is the limited Dragon edition, but I want you to look at the back. It's bowed. So the fret 37 is not going to fit on something that has a bowed back. You can see the concave, it's bowed. In other words, it starts here and then it bows upward, then comes back down. So there's an obvious bow. So the fret 37 won't work on it. It's going to fall off. You also got to be very careful putting it on. You don't want to hurt the guitar. And I use it like, for instance, my Gibson L00. I mean, it fits perfectly on there because, it's thin. Fits good on this Hummingbird Epiphone. So, it's just a matter of, making sure it's safe. It has these little wheels. You adjust it, it slides in and out, and then you hand tighten it down. You certainly don't want to over tighten it, but that gets into, when you're playing, if you don't have a guitar stand nearby, you can take the fret 37 and you can just literally set the guitar down. And it's fine. So, anyway, let me get back over here. Like I said, bear with me. This is my first live, and I've got a long way to go to learn how to do it. I'm not crazy about lives. What we're offering to what we call the early bird membership is we said we would do at least one theme live a month, and but it's going to be themed. It's going to be on topic. And if people start asking questions off topic, I'm not going to engage them. I don't want them to get a bad taste in their mouth, and I don't want to I don't want to read a question like I see so many YouTubers do, and then they turn around and they jump on the subscriber, the member, whether it's a public live, a members only live, and they get on for asking a question. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't want anything I do to be a negative experience. So, I'm trying and I'm learning as far as YouTube goes, but I hope that whatever lives we do, I may get my granddaughter to help me. She told me she would be interested in that as a moderator, but I don't like playing hall monitor. So I just don't. So, it's something that I hope is an enhancement to the channel. Let's say we're talking about straps, or we're talking about changing strings, and my son was, all three of my sons worked for my newspaper while they were going through high school and into college. And, I sent one of them to photography school and video school. And one of them was a sports reporter, one of them was the copy editor. So, I can always pull from those resources, but they have lives of their own. I mean, they want to help, and, and they're guitarists. So, they enjoy that too. I may have them on the channel sometime. And, I'm trying to figure this out. For all I know, um, maybe nobody's going to watch this. Who knows? I mean, I don't ever want anything I do to become snooty. The way I tried to set up the support membership was, we'll let the early bird member, which everything we've got's under $5. It starts out like $1.99, and then there's the YouTube suggested I do 3 levels, so I listened to what they suggested. But the early bird, we simply will put the video out a day before we make it public, so we don't want to take away from what we're offering everybody. That's the last thing I want to do is take away. But we want to offer you extra for the support you have. So, I mean, that's, somebody just said I started playing 5 minutes ago. Well, hey, good. I hope you have a blessed guitar journey. Thanks for, joining. Pardon me as I stumble through this. This is sort of a test run for me. So anyway, but thank you for commenting. I appreciate that. And I realize some people are going to have a heyday as I stumble through this. And now I did have the tell YouTube to make sure the comments were, appropriate. So they do watch for language and things like that. So, but my lives, I hope to have a better camera. I'm still not going to get rid of my easel board and do the things that I like to do. You remember when, let's see if I've got them here. When I showed you a review I was doing, I actually held up a chord, and we talked about taking an A minor and moving the shape to the 3rd, the 5th fret, and things like that. Well, I like visuals like that. I think they do just as good a job. I'm not saying there's not a place to impose something on the screen. Sometimes that can help. I happen to really love these guitar-worthy sites that do tab in a short, and they actually show the tab, and they've got it down to where it actually moves the tab slow enough that it is in sync with the fingers. Those kind of things are great. Month. The person said they started playing a month ago. Well, hey, I encourage you to look on our channel at guitar-worthy sites. There's even in the playlist, you can find that lists places like Justin Guitar and several others that have structured. A lot of times, if you're just beginning, you structured. They've been teaching guitar for centuries. This isn't something that the advent of the electric guitar happened within the past, since after World War II, and even a little before that when they first started working with it, and Fender and Gibson and all that went on. But I learned on an acoustic, but I had an Ibanez Black Beauty Les Paul in high school back in the 70s, and a big giant Fender Super Twin reverb tube amp that would literally blast you out of the church pews. I was playing in a folk and a gospel group. So I love electrics as well. I'm primarily an acoustic. I will always love acoustic. There's always a fondness in my heart for acoustics, but I love to play with electrics and experiment with the tones. I'm going to do a live one day on the amps I use. because I didn't want to buy a ton of amps. I didn't want to lug around. I only occasionally go out to play anymore. So, and I know a lot of people, they're going to immediately go, "Oh, that's horrible." But, I use digital amps mostly. Now I've got a loud box mini, a Fishman for my acoustic that also handles vocals very nicely. And I think it's one of the best acoustic amps there are. And the person said they have a classical guitar. That's great. I love a classical. As you can see, I've got some classical guitars myself. I have several. Um, they're a different animal, and it depends on what you want to do. This is an Ibanez classical electric, and of course, on a classical guitar, the nut is usually wider. Now, some people like that, some people don't, but it makes it a lot easier to get your fingers in to playing chords. But guitar body types, classical, acoustic, hybrids, they all serve a purpose. And I don't limit myself to any one type, but I think you were probably smart in your own right to start off with a classical. The nylon strings can help your finger. Now, you'll still get finger pain. You're going to have to develop the calluses. The degree you develop is going to depend on how much you play. We talked about that. I have a video that talks about what I did for my wife, who I taught how to play almost 40 years ago when we first got married. And then life got in the way, and now she's still working remote full time for a couple more years. I'm fully retired, but I'm doing this. So, I guess I'm semi-retired. So I'm 63. But, my wife, Vicki, is almost a natural at finger picking. She loves classical guitar. And she stole my Godin Multi-Act Moondal, classical nylon electric guitar that has the built-in body sensors for percussion, and she loves it. So, you can't just start an immediate, well, you can do anything you want, but it's good to stick with a guitar and learn the chords. You've got to, there's a reason we start with chords, and then we can get into other things. So thanks for sharing that, you're a beginner, and I hope your guitar journey is a blessed and beautiful one. Now, I don't do structured lessons. I have guitar worthy sites. Well, I'll tell you about plenty of places that do everything from Fender Play, Gibson app, True Fire, Justin Guitar, Den Lopez, Beginning Guitar Secrets. I try to enhance learning of the guitar where you might get stuck on something. Somebody may throw out a word or a lesson, and they didn't have the time to break it down. That's the kind of things that, I try to do, and I hope it helps. I really do. This is a ministry for me. You'll notice on my cover photo, it says "Praise Him with Strings," Psalms 150, and my son, who's a graphic artist, part-time, and he's a collection manager for his day job, which, boy, I couldn't turn that on and off. But anyway, I'm proud of him. He's a hard worker, and I taught him guitar, and he taught himself sax. So, we're a musical family, and we love being a musical family. I teach my granddaughters. I hope to teach my grandson. I bought them all ukuleles. They're learning ukulele before I move into the guitar. My 15-year-old granddaughter is moving into the guitar with me, and we're going to have guitar lessons twice a week during the summer, and her dad's going to join back in too. So, I want everybody's guitar journey to be something blessed. And if you're coming to my channel, I want it to be blessed. I don't ever want it to be negative. I don't want to get in fights with people. I respect choices. Y'all know how I handle comments. People that come in and start getting ad nauseum and attacking me or others, I just don't tolerate it. All the comments are held. I don't argue with people about that. But that's one of the first levels of membership, which was $1.99 a month for the monthly membership that you can cancel at any time. And I made sure that may be the only way it can be. I think it is, and that's good. That way you're not locked into something. I mean, they had God. I could have made some memberships are to me outrageous, but think of the value you're getting. If someone's spending a lot of time, it's almost like getting a one-on-one instructor. And some, like Justin Guitar, he literally will walk you from a beginner to an advanced music theory. He had a live today that I put in the community tab. And that's another thing members get. They'll get a lot more community posts where, I try to teach this also to scratch my journalism itch. I'm retired, but remember, I wrote my whole life. I mean, so, it allows me to share with others, things that I find on YouTube that I think are worthy and you might find interest. No, I don't do private guitar lessons. I appreciate you asking. That means a lot. There are many that do. True Fire. And Justin Guitar does private lessons, and they're expensive, and he'll tell you because he donates some money to a charitable organization. But you can find several that do private guitar lessons. In fact, go through my guitar worthy sites and look at the community tab on my channel page. And there's several people that give very reasonable lessons, one-on-one, private. And that, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm sorry. I'm glad you asked that question because there are several doing that. And I'm not going to make them a guitar worthy site. Now I bought Justin Guitar's courses that are there to be bought. Most of them are free. I bought an annual membership to True Fire. Some people think that's expensive. I don't. For the value you get, it's unbelievable. So that's something I'm going to try to do. I encourage you, if you go to my channel page, it's at Bama Guitar. And maybe I'll get to a point where somebody will help me and we can drop links in while I'm doing this and that. But I buy everything that I talk about with a guitar worthy site, unless it's a free site. Even like Ricky Comiskey, this guy's been around forever. He's across the pond in England. And he's great. What he sells to support his channel, you can get it on Amazon. You can buy. I bought them both. Ricky Comiskey, Comisky. This guy's been teaching for like 30 years. And he has a book, a printed book, and an ebook that has every one of his lessons and what there's about. And they have a QR scan code that will take you straight to the lesson. That's how he supports everything. But private guitar lessons, those are great. I think they became very popular during the pandemic. I can tell you right now, I taught lessons in high school to my high school football teammates. In my bedroom back in high school. I think online lessons are a great thing today. There's no way I would teach a student, an underage person in a private lesson unless it was a digital Zoom meeting. And then I would encourage that it be recorded and the parent be there. And that's a whole nother topic, but I'm just, we always live in a different world, but it's how we view that world. So wait, it says an ad will run shortly for some viewers. Okay. I'm learning. So if you got to put up with an ad for a minute, then, I guess you're going to put up with an ad for a minute till I can figure that out too. I'm stumbling through this. This is my very first live. So, and I went into great detail about, I resisted monetizing this channel at all. And I still want to keep it at a bare minimum. I don't want to lose what this is about. This is about getting help that I didn't get, I've shared in many videos my story. I got 5 guitar lessons, cut grass for 3 years up until I was 13 to buy my first Epiphone guitar. And it was just a blessing. And then I got thrust into a gospel folk group all the way up until I went in the Air Force. And so the lesson stopped. And only by the grace of some other very non-ego guitar buddies that I remember asking one day, how do you know what chord to play? Now, I was real good at looking and figuring out what somebody was playing. Hey, that's a C, that's a bar F, and I could change real quick. But he went, well, and then he goes, nah, let's go sit down and get a piece of paper. And he showed me the circle of fifths, 1, 4, 5 chord progressions. That's not the only ones. There's other ones, 1, 5, 6. There's different ones. And that's what's so beautiful about music theory. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It's only complicated because someone is using terminology that you don't know what they mean. When you hear the word scale, there's harmonics, diatonics, there's all kind, and then there's the major scale, there's the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the 7, the 8th returning to the root, the 12 notes in Western music, and all that may seem Greek to you, but it's only because you weren't exposed to it. That's what I'm trying to do, is help bridge that gap in your learning. And sometimes YouTube I would have loved to have had YouTube when I was learning guitar. I would have loved it. And I've been playing 52 years and had to take a break for 5 years because of this Dupuytren contracture until it healed and got well. And I could stretch my hand out again, because there was a point where my hand was like this. It was gnarled. Couldn't play. I had to give all my guitars to my son, Justin. It broke my heart. But the bad part about YouTube is that you can be all over the place. You can find some great things. And sometimes when you're starting, you do need some structure, and you don't want it to cost a fortune. So we're going to try to help you with that. Let me read. Yeah, he just brought a great point. He said he loves private lessons, but he doesn't have a lot of time because, his instructor works. And so some of these, I've seen them online that will charge $10 for a lesson through a Zoom meeting. And I off the top of my head, most of them are going to be $20, 40. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. I mean, there's, it's going to be what they charge, and many people are going to balk at what anybody charges. But I mean, God, the guitar lessons in 1972 that my mother paid for the 5 or 6 I got, it was like $10 a lesson. Now, $10 back in 1972 was a lot of money. And my God bless my mother in heaven. I mean, she cared enough. She knew how much I wanted to play, and she got me those lessons. Now, I still saved and bought my guitar, but my mother encouraged me. She would remind me when I was cutting grass and sweaty and making $1 a yard. Yeah, I made $1 a yard, but I cut a lot of yards, and the guitar was mine. So, and you know what? If your parents got you a guitar, well, thank them. Be grateful for it. So, I understand exactly what this person is talking about. Everybody wants to gripe. I'm 63. I even had a private Facebook group, and we originally called it Old Fart Pickers. These are the guys I taught in high school, but we finally changed it to just Bama Pickers and Kickers. It's still a private group, and we try to help young people and even retired people that want to learn to play the guitar. We didn't have these opportunities, and I'm not going to sit here and I am a computer guy. I was the chief system operator for the largest online magazine in the entire world before there was a World Wide Web. So I have a computer background. Use it. It's like anything. I miss the good old days. Well, there's some things I miss in the good old days, and there's some things about the good old days that were all good and a blessing, but they just sucked. So I'm glad for the technology that we have, and I hope people use it and use it to their advantage. So, and that's what I want to do. I don't give private lessons. Your question was great. I think I may have a live about that one day. I mean, and but we may even get, Justin from Justin Guitar got on my comments for when I made him a guitar worthy site, which kind of floored me. This guy has got a ton of subscribers, and the man had and his wife had just had a baby, and he came on and he made a comment, Dave, thanks for giving that love out. I appreciate it. Well, I'm in Moody, Alabama, man, right outside of Birmingham. He's across the pond an hour out of London. So, I mean, the internet's a great way to connect with people that love our art and our craft, and, and we can help one another. That's one of the things that, has always drawn me to guitar, is the love guitarists have for each other and wanting to share and show you things. And, and hopefully they get seasoned enough to try to show you in a kind way, in a way that encourages you to keep playing, and not one of these, oh man, nobody plays it that way. Can I show you another way that I play it that you might like or you might not? I mean, that takes life. That takes being treated kind. So, that's you guys, thank y'all for those questions. I'm going to try to end this. I don't even know that I know how to do that, but I'm going to try. We're going to have better cameras in the future. Somewhere there's going to be something about ending this. I'm looking for in the stream. Wow, man. I mean, that's, I tell you, a great deal of the computer. The reason I was also recognized as an expert computer in the court system, but a lot of it was trial and error and learning. 30 years old. Wow. See, that's a great time to learn guitar. But yeah, an opinion, mine. You've got enough life experience that you probably understand the discipline that's needed to pursue something. For all all over YouTube, you're going to see the secret to the fretboard, the secret to this, and there are some secrets. There are some shortcuts and things that will help. But there's a famous guitar channel in Europe. I think it's Anderton's, and they're a huge online retailer. And he's got one of the most hilarious shorts I've ever seen. He's sitting in a chair just like that, and he's holding his cell phone, and it zooms in on him, and he goes, "You want to get better at the guitar?" And he literally chunks the cell phone toward the camera, and he goes, "Put that down." He reaches over, he grabs the guitar, he says, "Pick up your guitar and practice." And the video ends. And I just thought, you nailed it, dude. You absolutely nailed it. So, hey, I'm going to end this the same way I end my videos. I hope you have a blessed guitar journey, and most of all, happy picking.